My name is Greg Mele. I'm going to talk about my brother, and I have been looking forward to this moment for a long time. As soon as he told me, I'm his older brother, as soon as he told me that he was going to be inducted, it was a huge deal to me and a huge deal to my family. His wife Anna's here, his mother, our mother Emma's there, and our sister Sue. Come from a wonderful family. My father couldn't make it here today. He's had back issues, but he really wanted to be here. So I want to tell a little story about him, and I want to, he's older, and he doesn't look like a Dane, but he used to be an amazing athlete, but he isn't anymore. And I had a couple of wrestling jokes, but now that I'm looking up here, I don't think I want to go there with that. But my wife was a Division III athlete, and I coach and I teach and have done so, and I've been so lucky to do so. So fortunate to get into teaching and find it, and it found me, and then to coach with Chris down in Austin, Texas. We're originally from Albany, but we spent a lot of time down in Texas now. And my wife is a Division III athlete. She was a wrestler. But no. She played field hockey at Union College, and the quality of Division III athletes are these people are the people that you know. These people are the most productive people you're going to meet. Division I's great, but Division III athletes are the people that go out and do things, that get things done. They play the game for the love of the game. And what I want to do is talk about how sports is just transformative and use it in an example of my brother Chris. My brother Chris was not the kid that you were going to choose from a lineup of maybe 8th, 9th, 10th grade kids and say that kid's going to be an All-American, he's going to be a leader, and he's going to be inducted into a Hall of Fame. He was a late bloomer, and he struggled for a while, and I was concerned about him, and I think my parents were concerned about him. But when he found lacrosse was that platform, and I'm sure everyone who's an athlete knows it. All the people in this room know it. It was that platform that brought out all those qualities that he already had. And all those talents that he already had. But there are people in our lives all the time that have qualities that never find that vehicle or that platform to convey them through that full development that brings them all the way from the beginning to the end, a fully realized person. Not just an athlete, but a fully realized person. Because this guy is one of the great guys. He's a person that has taught me so much. He helped me build my house in Austin, which is now a half mile down from your new president's grandchildren. I just found out. So we'll get together and have some margaritas later. But I've learned so much from this guy because in lacrosse, and when he came to Potsdam, those 4 years, maybe a little more, that time here at Potsdam transformed him. And lacrosse transformed him. He was able, even though he had 3 different coaches, all were wonderful, and he wasn't on championship teams, he was able to really develop all those qualities he had. His leadership quality that he never really had a chance to show, and no one saw it in him. His teachers didn't see him, his coaches didn't see him. And later on, in late high school, he had an opportunity to step up and lead. And at that moment, he stepped up. And he did amazing things. He's a legend in the Albany area. He's the guy that really inspired so many people to go on and play lacrosse. And all those people that have done great things later on, so many of them have done it because they knew Chris. And they knew Chris not only as a college athlete, but as a coach, and also as a summer league player and coach. But he's a problem solver. And I think his time here at Potsdam gave him that opportunity to go out and make mistakes, try again, get up and try and make another mistake, and develop and grow. And he wants to learn. And I think that as a teacher, I find that quality very, very much lacking, that resilience. And I think the guys from the 72 wrestling team, they understand this. They understand this because they've raised kids. I have 3 kids of my own. And they know the qualities that they had to develop well through college. And then all those qualities help you in your relationships with your spouse, raising children, all the ups and downs of life that you're going to face. My wife and I have been together for 25 years. We're going to be celebrating our 25th wedding anniversary. And I know that the lessons that I've learned in sports are the lessons that help me get through all the tough times. And I think that the thing that I worry about most, and if you're connected to kids nowadays, and if you're not yet, go get connected. Get them into sports, because kids give up too easily. And my brother was a kid who never gave up. He's tenacious. And I think anyone who ever played with him, he demanded that you play your best. And he was in your face if you didn't, even if you're his older brother. He was also a guy who just loved to play. He never played on a championship team here, but he played every second. Every second. And when we coached together, we constantly coached that. We constantly coach that you have total control over what you do at any moment. Everything else is out of your control. And I see him apply that all the time with his children, in his work. And around town, I asked one of the fellow coaches, he's also an award-winning coach in Austin, Texas, even though he does it as a hobby and had done it as a hobby. He's out of it now. But I said, what would you say about Chris? He said, he just does it right. There's very few guys like that. Very few guys. There's a lot of guys in coaching and in sports who do it for their own ego. And they can't handle it when they lose because their ego is bruised. But Chris wasn't like that at all. He knew from the very beginning that it's all about everybody else. And that what you get out of it is the satisfaction of giving everything away, and then you get it all back and more. So it's my pleasure to introduce one of the great guys. I hope you get to know him, Chris Mele.
Hug too, or what's the deal?
I'll hug him. All right. Well, I wasn't supposed to be crying before I got up here. I got a piece of paper. It's 25 years later, so we're good. I thought I was going to be one of the old ones, but you guys showed up. So I'm doing pretty good. This I kind of feel like this is my Oscar moment. I'm up here getting my Oscar. So if I turn to Anne Hathaway and start bawling and mumbling, just play the music and I'll get off. But we're good to go. I kind of came at a different route to Potsdam. When you find out you're being inducted, it's surreal. It's very humbling. You go through all the questions, why me, that whole thing, and then you realize, I had to sit down with my kids, had a little chat about it, and they're like, wow, that's amazing, and everything else, and you realize, hey, it is amazing. It's unbelievable that I got to this point, okay? And I'm going to be emotional, so hopefully I'll make it through. Then Dan gave me a call, and Dan and I had about an hour conversation, interview. And one of the questions Dan asked me is, how did you end up in Potsdam? And coming from Albany, lacrosse players weren't recruited out of Albany when I was in the early 80s. They just didn't, nobody looked there. There was Watertown, Syracuse, Long Island. You didn't get recruited. So I didn't get recruited to Potsdam to play here. I actually came up here on my own volition and walked on. So one of the reasons I came up here is, every time I got in my car as a teenager, it went north. I loved the lakes, everything, Loved it up here. And there was, good computer science program at the time. I'm sure there still is. And, that's kind of what I wanted to get into. Changed my major 3 times when I was up here. Ended up with physics. I don't know why. Never used it, but I use it every day, type of thing. So one of the things I do remember that I didn't tell Dan was one spring day, my parents brought me up here on a admissions tour, and we were walking through campus. Gorgeous day. One of those days they put in the postcards. They never put the snowy, slushy days on. Always the beautiful, sunny days. It was a Saturday. All the students were out with their shirts off, playing frisbee all over the quads and everything else. And we're walking through, actually, the quad upstairs here. And there's there's probably a tour of about 30 people, young lady running the tour, and behind her, 2 stories up out of one of the lounge windows was 3 guys mooning us, yelling, send us your daughters. So I turned to my mom and said, I think I'm going here, Mom. And I came, and it was the best decision of my life. It really was. Like I said, I pretty much that fall there was fall ball, the first fall here, and I just kind of I ran into a couple guys with lacrosse sticks and walked on. I think Chip Hunter was probably pretty shocked, the rest is history, as they say. But the lessons I learned here at Potsdam, I use every day, and like my brother said, I use it raising my children. I use them running my business. I use them in my relationships with everybody. The community here is just amazing. Just come, it's been since I think '89 was the last time I was here, and I felt extremely welcome here today. And I'm sorry I haven't been back sooner, to tell you the truth. But I love it up here. It's gorgeous. It's beautiful. I wish I could come back more often. But I use what I learned here all the time, and it's made me what I am today. And I really appreciate being recognized for what I did here at Potsdam. I really want to thank the university. Have to thank my wonderful family, my amazing parents. I aspire to be as good a parent as they were, or they are, I guess I should say. My brother, my sisters, my wife, and my children. It's just want to thank everybody. I'll give you all a hug, like I said. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.